5:30, we'll call the meeting to order. Would you please stand and salute the United States flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
And now join Dr. Pollard in a prayer.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for allowing us to gather here tonight and help us to make some good decisions, Lord. And we also ask a special prayer for the little kindergarten student in Belton. Lord, we hope that her family, you can comfort them and take care of them during this hard time. And Lord, we just ask that you keep all of our kids safe for the last 4 days of school. In your name we pray. Amen.
We begin with staff spotlight.
Well, we want to spotlight Kim Strickland to begin with. Kim is a sweet employee. She's back there, I think, on the third row. And her principal, Ben Collins, is with her. And I've got a bunch of nice things that were written about Kim from her coworkers. Miss Erie said that Kim's a great asset to the primary. She's a phenomenal assistant. She and Miss Richardson make a great team. She lends a helping hand wherever she's needed and never complains. She'll always put a smile on your face and greet you with a hug every day. I can attest to that. She loves all the students unconditionally and works really hard in her classroom. We're really lucky to have her. It's rare to come across people that dedicated and hardworking. Jana Richardson wrote, is Jana here?
She could not make it.
Okay. She said, I'd like to say a little bit about Kim Strickland. I began working next door to Kim in 2000 when she was at A for Miss Necessary. Our classes worked together several times each week. Because of this, I was able to see what a wonderful asset Kim was to our students and our district. I worked beside her for 12 years at primary, then was able to have her as my aide in my first grade class when the new elementary opened up. Then in 21, when I came back to primary to teach pre-K, I was able to convince her this will be fun. She accepted, and I'm still lucky to have her working with me. Kim has a true heart for students. They become her kids more than just for that year. They always come back to see her, and she cheers them on. As a coworker, Kim always has a smile and genuinely cares for the students. She wants best for our students and our school, and I hope we have many more years together, a few more before we both retire. She's deserving of this spotlight recognition. So, Kim, you do a wonderful job for us. And if you would come up, and if anybody's here to support Kim, let's come up also so she can have her picture taken for the newspaper.
She was a good neighbor to us.
A good neighbor. Congratulations. Yes.
Who's taking the picture?
Is he down here?
I'm so used to getting my picture taken. I had it. Let's see.
Probably looking out in the crowd.
Yeah, Shane.
We're just going to stand here and look pretty.
Yeah.
I'll just keep standing there.
Yeah. It's not the least bit awkward. Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you, Kim. Congratulations. Now we have a community partner spotlight, and Julia Martin had a great idea. All of our LPAC moms who come and help us have LPAC meetings for our ESL students. Those are mandatory meetings that we have to have each year, and those parents really come in handy because we couldn't do that process without them. And so they have to learn about all the ESL rules. They have to sign oath of confidentiality. They sacrifice a lot of time to represent parents. And so we're really grateful to them. And so tonight we have, let's see, Miss Patel is absent.
Yes, she had to fly to Panama. Right now we have Maida. That's the only one that comes.
Okay, Myra.
Maida.
Maida.
And you can tell that she's a busy mom and still makes time for all these volunteer hours. And we're just super proud that she represents our community and Gatesville ISD.
Yes, let's give her a big round of applause. Your picture taken?
Yeah, stand here in front.
Come up here, Dopey. Let's see.
Here, by here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Coming.
Thank you so much.
you, Dr.
Thank
Pollard.
you. All right, Coach Phillips has a bunch of student athletes that are going to be honored.
Sorry, no, go ahead,
Okay, that'll work. All right, tonight we're going to recognize there are 13 Gatesville High School student athletes that earned all academic all-state honors. And most of these guys are here. I need to explain the THSCA academic all-state is not just your ordinary honor roll. It's based on class rank. It is based on grade point average. It's also based on ACT and SAT test scores. So it is academics at a higher level, and these guys are all recipients tonight. Not here tonight, but I'm going to recognize them anyway. So Tommy Aaron, Riley Aaron, Sean Aguilar. Sean, raise your hand if you would. Right there. Barrett Boyd, JT Kaufman, Kaylee Corsi, Justin Johnson is here, Lawson Mooney, Bethany Penrod, David Sims, Garrett Sullivan, Laura Trejo, and Olivia Walker. So this is some of the cream of the crop, not only in our athletic program, but also Friday night at a commencement. You'll see these guys out there. They're honored graduates, and they're great young men and young women. And they are recipients this year of the THSCA Academic All-State Honors. How about a round of applause?
All right, guys, you'll kind of squinch in, and Miss Kaiser's going to take your picture.
All right. One, oh no. Oh, figure small. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, Barrett, don't go too far. So we need to do a few more recognitions. And so the next one is a military recognition. So as our students join the armed services, they get recognized at our award ceremonies, and some of them have just now completed what's called the DD4 form, which is when you officially enroll in the armed services. And so Barrett is our salutatorian, and she'll be attending the United States Air Force Academy this fall, where she'll be majoring in biology and be a part of the track and field team. Following her time at the academy, Barrett plans on attending medical school to be an anesthesiologist in the U.S. Air Force. So she'll do 4 years in the academy, plus another 5 years of active duty service. So we'll see Barrett in 9 years. But that's a huge chunk of time to dedicate for her country. It's very patriotic, and we're very proud of her. And also Angel Almendarez. Is Angel here? Angel is joining the Marines, and he just completed, or is in the process of completing his DD4 also. And we're about to honor Angel for another event here in a second, but I wanted to get these two guys a picture, and then Ms. Show, does anybody else want to come up here? A picture. You guys give them a round of applause. We also had an unusual situation Friday. We had a substitute have a medical emergency in the classroom. It was very scary. It was a young man, and he had a seizure. And so he collapsed to the floor and was hurt somewhat. And so this room full of students are basically alone with him. But luckily, all of the class was very well behaved during all of it. But we had 4 students in particular and a staff member that really jumped up and helped attend to him and watch over him, go get help. And so we want to specifically honor those students tonight. So again, Angel Almendarez was there. He was just up here. Angel, come on up. Grayson Egling. Colton Byler. Y'all come on up and get your certificate. Clayton Gregory. And staff member Nick Mora.
Thank you.
And again, that substitute, he's okay, but that was a scary moment for all of us there for a second. Colton, and Clayton, and Mr. All right, thank you guys. Ms. Shove, did you want to?
You're fine.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
That was really a great showing of those young men helping out.
Thank you.
One more. This is more of a community spotlight. So, I posted this on Facebook earlier in the week. Several of our primary teachers and Mr. Collins went to the World Vision Teacher Resource Center in Dallas. I'd never even heard of that place. And they went on a 30-minute shopping spree, loaded as much stuff as they possibly could, and packed a bus full. And so they were really excited. Everything was free. And we have to thank Michelle Martin for finding World Vision and setting up all those visits. Also, while we're talking about community events, the Gathering Gatesville event has been rescheduled to this Wednesday from 5 to 7:30. Remember, it was a week or two back, but it got rescheduled because of the flooding. And so we're hoping that doesn't dampen the attendance at that event. But here are a few interesting statistics about all those community events that Michelle coordinates. So the annual Back to School Bash that started in 2020, last year we had 420 students come to that one. Since then, she has added dental services, health clinics. So at those events, they give away free school supplies, backpacks, shoes, hats, jackets, blankets, hygiene items, haircuts, health screenings, wellness checkups, dental exams, and even dental cleanings with fluoride. The estimated value of all those items is $162,871 saved by the parents. So we're hoping that Wednesday has another good turnout because that's really a neat community event. And so that's just another branch in that community outreach that they do, and the teachers are very happy to get those free items. So anyway, I think that is all of our updates.
I think that deserves a round of applause.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
No problem.
We do have some people signed up for public comments about items that are not on the agenda. In that case, I read the following statement. The board encourages comments about the district from members of the public. Anyone who has signed up to speak in advance of the meeting in accordance with the board procedures may do so. The board asks that each participant's comments pertain to district business and be no longer than 5 minutes. For any member of the public who is accompanied by a translator, your time will be doubled as required by law. Remember that the Board of Trustees may not discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on the agenda. In addition, the board has adopted policies to provide prompt, equitable resolution of complaints and concerns for employees, students, and parents, and the general public. Copies of our district policies and procedures on public comment and filing complaints are available at the Gatesville ISD Administration Office, 311 South Lovers Lane, Gatesville, Texas. So the first one that signed up is Elaine Kinney. And we are welcoming you here tonight. We'll get you a podium.
Thank you.
You hope put your things on it.
That's good enough for me. Thank you.
Your 5 minutes begins now.
Hi, my first question is, I had contacted Dr. Pollard and spoke with him about some trouble I had on the bus. He said he would get back to me, and he never got back to me. I never had any resolution. I never heard what happened to the bus driver. I never heard what happened with the kids. There was no contact back. My second thing is, what is your policy now if the bus is full? My question for that is because on April 23rd, primary children were dropped off at the intermediate school, left at the intermediate school. Their siblings were not allowed to get off the bus with them. They were left there, no phone call, no notification to the parents, nothing. And then the bus took the older children home and then came back and got the little kids. Who made that decision? Why, and what's the policy now if the bus is full? My next question is, who reviews bus cameras? And in reviewing the bus cameras, do they only review the students or do they review the bus drivers also? And if they do, who looks at that and who makes decisions on what kind of disciplinary action is taken or what kind of action needs to be taken if something is happening on the bus? Because I know children face disciplinary action if they're doing things they shouldn't do on the bus, and they should, but so should the bus drivers. They're just as responsible, if not more. They're paid to take care of our children. They're paid to keep our children safe. And that didn't happen. And I'm upset about it, and I want some answers, and I haven't gotten any. The issue with the, I don't know if you're aware, I spoke with Mr. Pollard about the issue with the bus driver talking on the phone while she was driving, and the video of that. So that was illegal. Her talking on the phone while driving the kids, that was very unsafe. That issue happened on the 22nd of April. I finally spoke with Mr. Pollard on the 24th of April. On April the 24th at 8 p.m. I sent him the video of the lady driving, I don't even know her name, the lady driving the bus on the route that my daughter and my granddaughter are on. I did not hear back from him. That was a Wednesday. I did not hear back from him Thursday. I did not hear back from him Friday, and I did not hear back from him Monday on what was happening. And she was still driving the bus. Monday, I contacted the news station and said, nobody will help me. I can't get any help, and my kids aren't safe on this bus. I need some help. So she contacted you guys. Only at that point was she pulled off driving the bus. Why? Why did that happen? And why did nobody contact me and nobody had any response for the news? Our people need to know that these things are happening. These kids are on the bus and those things are happening. So she'll drop them off at the intermediate and leave them. She'll brake check them. She'll talk on her phone while she's driving my kids. And that's unacceptable to me, and I want to know what the board in Gatesville ISD is going to do about it. I love this school. I graduated from here. My kids go to school here, but it's unacceptable. And I don't care how many people I make mad, I'm going to make sure my kids are safe.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Debbie Ayers.
It's Robbie.
Robbie Ayers, I'm sorry.
Okay. I would like to address the school board concerning my son Lucas. He got in trouble for owning up to a vape that wasn't his specialist, and it was charged. Y'all have taken away his privilege of walking at graduation. It's a once in a lifetime thing. And I was told by 2 different school officials that when the vape was found, they walked right by Lucas, not thinking it was him. Lucas did own up to it when he was asked, but for House Bill 114, placements can range 10 to 45 days. And on page 22 of the Gatesville 2324, the duration of a student's placement shall be determined case by case, seriousness of the offense, the student's age and grade level, their frequency of misconduct, the student's attitude, and statutory requirements. Nowhere in the Student Code of Conduct or handbook does it state 45 days for having a vape or owning up to having one. Lucas has never been in serious trouble, and he has even been given an award by the school district. This is a once in a lifetime thing for me and Lucas. I just want him to walk. And if he can't, he needs punishment because he knows he was in the wrong. But please don't take away my son's once in a lifetime to walk with his class. Because I went to school here like Elaine said. This is a great school district. But my son did need the punishment. But I think 45 days was just too harsh and taking away his right to walk. Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is consent items. These items are items that are routine items, and they are often just bundled together and approved without discussion. They include the minutes of April 22nd, financial statements as of April 30th, bills and payrolls for April 24, budget amendments, end of year budget amendments to fund balance, vital signs report, food service report. Do any board members want to pull any of those items for discussion? Do I hear a motion that we accept them? Okay? Everybody, okay?
Who's first?
Everybody raise their hand at once.
Yes.
Linda? And second? All right, Mr. Hobson. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Now we're moving to information items. We don't vote on these, but we listen to them. And we'll have property taxable values released.
Good evening, board. In April each year, the two CADs, Coryell and Bell County, issue us what they consider the preliminary property taxable values. They will update these and issue their certified values in July. And the certified values are the ones that we then hang our hat on to set the rates and everything, okay? So this is just a preliminary one, and I've given you a copy of the notices that we've received from the two CADs, and they represent about a 1% increase in property values. It was pretty moderated, and we'll see if that holds till the certified is usually about the third week in July. Probably have that ready for you, hopefully at your July meeting. Any questions? This is just an information item only. Most of our values are in Coryell County. We have a little bit in the Bell County. So
Any
I
questions?
permit you to make any questions or comments about that.
All right, TASB Energy Cooperative Contract for 24-25.
All right, the last board meeting, you approved us making a commitment as a school district toward the TASB fuel pool for 24-25. And they were estimating the rates at $2.99 for diesel and $2.75 for unleaded. The TASB cooperative was successful in putting together a pool, and the final rates came out to $2.82.84 for diesel and $2.72.45 for unleaded. That will start June 1. Our commitment is 36,000 gallons of diesel and 9,000 gallons of unleaded. Our commitment is 126,343, which is down from the original projection last month of 132,390. So this is again an information item that the pool did make, and we're a part of that pool for the coming year.
Any questions, concerns? All right, health insurance premiums.
Health insurance. All right, the TRS has issued their 24-25 rates, and I have given you in your board packet copies of the plans. We're in the Region 12. Last year they split their plans into the various regions across the state of Texas, so that they're actually priced per region rather than as a whole for the entire state. I've given you a copy of their different plans, and then I had a spreadsheet like this that was in your board book that I gave you kind of a historical perspective going back 2 or 3 years to see what these rates look like. The legislature at the 88th legislative session appropriated some monies to hold the rates to a 10% maximum increase. That's kind of what they do. And that was a biennial appropriation from the state. It was $435 million. And the next legislature will probably have to deal with this again, because these rates will not be held to 10% without some kind of infusion of funds from the state, understand? So it looks like on this sheet that the overall increase is 9.6%. So it just came slightly under the 10% limit. And I've given you, there's one plan, the Scott and White plan has gone away. And we're only gonna be offering the Active Care Primary Plus and the Active Care Primary and the Active Care HD. Now there's still some negotiations going on with some of the providers that were a part of the Scott and White, but it doesn't mean that they're gonna offer a Scott and White plan. What it means is those providers will be able to help and assist our employees through one of these other plans. Probably the Active Care Primary Plus, more than likely. So on the top right up there, I'll show you the amount of increase, because most of the folks in Scott and White are presented to be going to the Active Care Primary Plus. And those are the rates up there that the Scott and White people are gonna see. And it goes from 1.48% for a single only, employee only, all the way up to 15.95% for family. So the family rates are going up pretty significantly, actually. The bottom left of this sheet gives you a highlight of the plan changes. Again, number one, Scott and White's going away. Number two, the TRS payment, TRS Active Care Primary Plus, there was no changes in the coverage for next year under that plan. The Active Care Primary, the out-of-pocket went up from $75,000, $15,000 to $8,050, $16,000. So there was some increase, not too dramatic. The TRS Active Care HD, the high definition plan, high deductible plan, I'm thinking about TVs. High deductible plan increased from $3,000, $6,000 to $3,200, $6,400. So again, it's increased. Well, that's what it was. It's going up to $7,500, $15,000, and $8,050, $16,000. So there's some increase. Now, as you well know, the employer contribution, the district's contribution toward the employee share of their medical insurance, we've subsidized it for about several years now, 3-4 years, $417 a month, which is the amount that the school district pays on behalf of the employee, and then the employee will pick up the rest. We've typically tried to peg that at the minimum employee only category that's available. So next year, you can see on that chart, the minimum amount will be the Active Care Primary, $446. So that minimum will be going up $29 a month or $348 a year. So if you extrapolate that with 353 employees, that turns into about $123,000 extra that it would take for the district to continue that funding. So at this point, we are still working on a budget for next fiscal year, and we're still pretty far away from balanced budgets. So we're not prepared as management to give you our recommendation as to what to do this year on that 123. We're not absolutely certain that we can recommend that and still be able to present to the board a balanced budget for 24-25. Any questions on this? The bottom of that chart, by the way, shows you the entire premium, which is approaching $3 million for our staff. It's gone up $248,000 this year, 9.6% increase, and that's split pretty much evenly between the employer and employee, around $350 a month. Questions? Comments?
Well, we know
Huh?
insurance just keeps going up.
I know. And if the legislature hadn't appropriated that money, which actually came from the CARES Act, didn't really come from the state, then these rates would go up even much more than that. So what happens next year, next 2 years, if the legislature decides not to do this funding, you know, it could be some rough times ahead on, medical costs just always keep going up. We had 1 year in there where we actually had a reduction, which was kind of an anomaly. But now we're down, you know, with one less plan too that we're able to offer our employees. So we're not presenting anything for your approval tonight on this. This is, I don't know if it was under the approval. No, it was under information item.
We do have a tradition in Gatesville ISD though of trying our best to provide as much of that as we possibly can.
Yes.
And you're going to continue to try as hard as you can to do all that we can.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
we do a lot more than some other districts do.
This is a tough year for budget. And I wouldn't lie to you that we're really struggling to do a balanced budget this time. But we're still working on it. And our goal is to have it to you next month at the June board meeting. Then we'll probably bring this up again to see whether we can
Any other
include it in a
questions
balanced
or
budget.
discussion? All right, summer
Good luck.
feeding. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said good luck with the budget. I hope it balances.
Let's see, did we jump over the one of them here?
Did I skip one?
Summer feeding.
The audit,
Summer feeding.
firm? Okay. So what happened to the selection of the audit firm? Is it already done?
No, you got one more information item.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, summer feeding.
Oh, there it is. Sorry. All right. He likes to tease me. Okay, on summer feeding, we're going to be offering the 14th annual summer feeding program under the National School Lunch Program, which is operated out of the Child Nutrition Fund, Fund 240. We began offering this program in June of 2011, serving almost 5,000 meals that year. The program grew each year, reached a peak of nearly 29,000 in 2020. Last year's meal count was down to 12,000. The program historically for years ran a deficit, but from 2017 to 2021, we operated the program at a net gain. Last year, the program lost 4,000. It is our intent to continue to provide this at a break even if at all possible. So we will shoot for a break even and see what happens. The district's 2024 summer feeding program will utilize the elementary and high school campuses for preparation of food. The meals will be served at the elementary campus, which will include the Boys and Girls Club who come over to the elementary campus to be fed. Meals will be delivered to all other locations from the high school cafeterias, including Trinity Baptist, City Pool. The WIC office is a no. That's on your sheet, but that is not going to happen, the WIC office. Summer school locations other than elementary, like high school, junior high, intermediate, athletic camps. Service will begin later this month, Tuesday, May 30, and it will end at the end of July, July 28th. And this is all accounted for out of the school's nutrition fund, Fund 240, which at this point has a positive balance. Any questions about the summer feeding? It's a great service for our community. Yeah, it really is. And our folks work real hard. They make it a success. We'll see if we can do it on a break-even basis.
No pressure. What was the reason for the loss of 4,000?
The reason for the loss,
Any
well,
particular?
the amount of meals served went way down.
Okay.
That was really the reason. So I think we cut a couple weeks out. There's no feeding in August like we used to do. Any other change I'm not thinking of?
We are no longer doing 4th of July week. We're shut down that whole week as well now. And they kind of put us more restricted on where all we can feed. We can't go out into the public, and we can only set up at the pools.
Yeah, TDA's gotten very restrictive in terms of the rules for summer feeding. And some of the stuff we used to get away with, we can't get away anymore. And so we, abide by the rules, and we're not serving as many meals as a result. Good question. Ms. Lee.
Anybody else? All right, now we're going to vote on an audit firm.
Okay, so back in 2017, we did go out for bids, request for qualifications, is what it's officially called, on auditing firms. 3 firms responded, including our current firm, Lott Vernon. And Lott Vernon was awarded the proposal based on 92 out of 100 points. The other 2 firms scored 50 and 68. The RFQ disclosed that it was the board's intention to maintaining at least a 5-year relationship with our firm. And now this is going to be our 8th year with Lott Vernon. And they're doing us a good job. It's a lot of work. I had somebody the other day approach us and said, can we consider doing your audit? And I said, have you looked at our audit? He said, go to our website and download our audit. Never heard back from the guy. So I said, it's a bear. And it is a bear. So it's a lot of work. So being in transition with my retirement this summer, I didn't really feel like recommending a change at this point. Maybe next year we'll let the new CFO make a decision on that. So my recommendation, and management's recommendation, is that we continue with Lott Vernon at least 1 more year for the audit of our August 31, 2024 audit. The cost is like maybe $1,000 more than it was last year. So now it's $34,000. And they'll start working on the audit next month in June. I'll start getting requests from them to produce documents and spreadsheets, this and that. Any questions?
Hear a motion? Okay, Cheyenne makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Okay, Mary Ann, any further discussion?
Thank you, board.
All in favor? You got it. Okay,
Okay, you love these 2 items.
for the workshop.
Workshop. Budget workshop. Whoa! Can't hardly wait, huh? Okay, I'm proposing we set that date for, let's see, what did I put in here? Tuesday, August 6th at 5:30. This would be 2 weeks prior to the regular board meeting that's scheduled for August 19. And this coincides with, we have to have a notice in the paper. And that notice will go, I think, around August 20, something like that. And you have so many days between this meeting and that meeting and this notice and whatnot. So this will keep us in compliance with the regulations per TEA. So I'm recommending we set the budget workshop for Tuesday, August 6th.
That'll be about 5:30.
5:30. Yes, sir.
Do I hear a motion? Okay, Calvin, do I hear a second? Okay, we have Mr. Hobson second. Any further discussion? All in favor? It carries.
Now, I remember you made the motion, so I don't want to hear you complaining about workshop in August.
On
Thank
ramps.
you, Calvin.
That's my favorite time of the year.
I know it is.
There's one more with Daryl.
Oh, one more, okay.
Yep. This is the
Public meeting, oh, you got, there's 2 parts to that, okay. Public meeting.
All right, so this is the big meeting that takes place at the end of August. And this is the meeting where we approve lots of stuff. We approve the amended budget for this year, we approve the new budget for next year, we approve the tax rate, we approved the final budget amendments, we approved board resolutions, like for the fund balance. So this is a busy time right here. We want to schedule this meeting for Tuesday, August 27th at 5:30. I don't think I wrote a time in here, but that's I didn't write the time on there. 5:30 good
5:30
for
is
y'all?
good for me.
Okay. And like I say, that's a very busy. So between the budget workshop, everything gets finalized until this meeting. And at this meeting, you approve everything for this fiscal year and next fiscal year. Then I go home.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Linda? Do I hear a second? Okay, Cheyenne.
I know this is extra time on your part as a board, these extra meetings, and I appreciate your dedication.
Any further discussion?
And I'm just throwing it, what day are you actually retiring? August the 31st?
What day is what?
You're retiring August the 31st?
August 31?
Yeah.
My last day? August 31.
Okay, so you'll be here.
I'm gonna get you through this.
As long as you're here, we're fine.
Yeah, we'll get you through this mess and I'll hand it over to Leanne.
Oh, this.
Thank you, board.
Okay, all in favor of that date? And it passes. All right, now we'll go to on-ramps.
This is an annual housekeeping item where the interlocal agreement with the University of Texas at Austin and Gatesville High School, we have a dual enrollment program where students are exposed to college level coursework. Our teachers are trained every year to present this. They follow the college syllabus, and they're at the end of the course, the students are able to decide if they want that college credit or not whenever they finish the course. We have 7 courses that are part of this on-ramps. We have chemistry, college algebra, pre-calculus, statistics, U.S. history, English, and biology. And the teachers, we pay for $550 for all 7 of them to be trained. And then we have projected 201 students to take on-ramps next year. And we don't really know the final total until they get enrolled, get taken the class. There's a drop date that they can drop the course, and they don't have to pay until that final time. And so that final enrollment is not available to us right now. But what's presented before you is a recommendation to approve the interlocal agreement with UT at Austin so that our students may take advantage of the college coursework.
Do you get feedback that this is something that they really enjoy? Is positive?
Enjoy that once they realize the benefit of it. The course is hard. It's challenging for them. But these are the kids that are dedicated, and they have an eye on that future. And so they put the work into it. This is not the only thing they're involved in. They're involved in a lot of things, and they choose to be a part of this. But they see the benefit of it.
Any further questions? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Mary Ann. Second, Linda. All in favor? And it passes.
Thank you.
All right, school surplus items.
At the last meeting, you guys approved for us to put several items out for bid, surplus items, and that auction closed on May 15th at 2 p.m. and we opened bids here in the boardroom, and 16 items received bids, and have a spreadsheet in your packet of the highest bidder for each item. And this money that we receive off of these purchased items will be deposited back into the general fund. And it is my recommendation that that the board accept these bids and remove the corresponding items from the inventory, as well as sell the remaining items on a first to pay cash, first come basis. Any questions about the auction, the surplus items?
Do I hear a motion to approve? Okay, Cheyenne, a second, Mr. Hart. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Mr. Olson, your name's on there.
School bus replacement grant.
It was almost too late to back out. All right, so we applied for the Texas Emissions Reduction Plan school bus replacement grant. It's a grant through the state of Texas where there's several criteria, but essentially the goal is to remove old school buses out of your fleet and replace them with more current, newer, fuel-efficient buses. And we had 4 buses. It's a combination of age and miles, but primarily age. And we had 4 buses that were around 24 years, I mean not 24, around 20 years old that were still on a daily route. And we submitted those 4 buses as candidates for replacements, and we were awarded the grant to replace those. The grant it pays up to 80% of the cost of replacement, not to exceed $87,822 per bus. That is not 80% of the cost of a bus. So we would get the full $87,000. And the reason I'm presenting this today, this is for the 24-25 budget, but the reason I'm presenting it today is we need to get in line to get the buses. If everything holds true and everyone that's ordered a bus buys the bus, they won't start building these buses that we would order next week. They would not start building them until February of 2025. That's how far out they are. The reason you want to get in line is because some people have placed a hold on one, and then they do their numbers and they decide they can't get one, and they just go by who's next in line to claim that one. Ideally, if we can get in line soon enough, we can possibly get a 2024 school bus. These prices are for 2025 school buses. But we talked to the guy again on Thursday of last week, and they had a few openings come up. He said, I've got 10 purchase orders coming tomorrow. I'm expecting to be here by, on Friday. So I can't guarantee anything. And I said, I just need to be honest. What do I need to present the brutal truth to the school board? And he said, well, if everything holds true, February 2025 is when they'll build these buses. So we want to get in line because most commonly that doesn't happen. Most commonly some openings occur. But if we push this back and continue to wait, that deadline just continues to push back. And I was visiting with Chris Rainey, our transportation director, about it, and he said the reality is this is a high price for buses, but we'll never get them at this price again. It's just going to keep going up. Yes, ma'am.
You said 80%, and the 87,000 is 80% of some cost. Is that the very basic bus they go by?
They will the 87,000 we can claim all the way up to 87. That's the max we can claim, 87,000.
Yeah, but it's based on 80%.
That number can't exceed 80%. So it's a complicated formula. If we were able to find a bus for $100,000 out there, then we could only get 80,000 of the grant.
I was just curious how they got that.
I
Is
don't
that
know
80%?
No, that's not
bus
80%.
price?
It's about 60% of the bus price.
Right, but
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know where they come up with it. They
Yeah.
said they have a formula that
It's
what kind of
just
bus
not
you're
the
turning
basic.
in.
No frills at all.
No, these are not the buses
I mean,
we're ordering are nice.
Right, and that costs more, which I'm all for that, but
Well, I
just
say they're
curious
nice. They're
as-
the base model. They're the standard school bus model. They're not any additions to that.
Do they
But
have air
they're-
conditioning?
air
They
conditioning.
do have air conditioning.
Yeah.
I don't think they make them without air conditioning anymore. The 4 we're getting rid of did not have air conditioning. The 4 we would like to get rid of 20 years ago, they didn't have air conditioning on all of them. But I don't think they make them without air conditioning
Gas
anymore.
or diesel?
They're diesel. Yeah, and we would like to the goal would be able to purchase 3 regular student school buses, 77 passenger, and 1 special needs school bus, a 54 passenger, that has the ability to hold 3 wheelchair students on it. And the requirements are the buses that we're replacing have to come out of the fleet, the daily fleet, and these buses have to go into the daily fleet. So currently when we buy a new bus that goes into our trip fleet, and is only used for trips, these would have to go into the daily driver fleet. And the ones that come out of the fleet have to be destroyed. They can't be reused again. It would be a cost of $258,000 to the district based on the math, but it is my recommendation that we need to act now to approve purchasing the 4 new school buses using local funds in conjunction with the Texas Emission Reduction Plan grant funds.
Any further questions?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't sell those buses. You have to destroy
We have
them.
to destroy it. Because the grant is to take them off of the roads and not let them be used
Of any
somewhere
road
else.
ever, anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and you can sell them to like South America, but that costs more to get them down there than it does to make money off of it. So I think we sell them for scrap, and you take them over to one of the places in Waco, and they have to do certain damage to the engine so that it can't be driven again, and then you get the scrap metal price out of it.
So this money is already budgeted?
It is in the budget that we're working on balancing for the 24-25 school year.
The price is good because
It's good for 4 buses.
Yeah.
The bus has been running over $100,000 per bus.
Yeah.
You're getting it about half.
Yeah, we're getting about 40% of the regular cost. We bought, and just to show you an example of how prices are changing, we bought two at the beginning of this school year in August for $130,000 a piece. The quote we got now is $153,000 a piece. So that's $23,000 more than what we paid in just August. It's just going to keep going up. Yes, ma'am.
Are you the one who did the grant?
I did.
Well, good for you.
Dr. Pollard's the one that told me about it. He found out about it in one of his superintendent committees last year, and we've been looking out for it. So I had a lot of help from Chris Rainey. He had to get in the engines and take pictures of the serial numbers and everything, and so he did most of the work. I just submitted the paper.
Well, good job, anyway.
Do I have a motion to buy the buses? Calvin, second Linda. All in favor?
Thank you, guys. That'll be
Sandy Hook Promise.
very helpful to our fleet, because our fleet is aging, and we've done a good job of continuing to revamp it, but it's an ongoing process. One of the requirements for all school districts, moving on to the Sandy Hook Promise Memorandum of Understanding, school districts are required to have procedures for a student to anonymously report dangerous, violent, or unlawful activity, commonly called an anonymous reporting system. And we currently use a vendor called Stop It, a platform called Stop It, and this was provided to us through the service center. I'm not sure, it was in place when I started up here in central office, so I'm not sure exactly how long the ISD's been using it, but it was free for a long time. And this school year, in December of this school year, at the semester, they started charging for the program. And the Sandy Hook Promise anonymous reporting system is free. And Sandy Hook Promise has a long-standing history of school safety. They offer a lot of programs to improve school safety, to emphasize school safety. And when I started shopping around for prices on who was the best vendor to go with, since we're going to have to pay for one now, we might as well look out there and see what the other ones offer. Sandy Hook came up. It was recommended by a few local school districts that use it, and like I said, it is free. But the requirement with them is they ask us to have a memorandum of understanding with them on using the product. And so it is my recommendation that we approve the memorandum of understanding to use the Sandy Hook Promise anonymous reporting system and their services starting in the 24-25 school year.
Any further questions?
Yes, ma'am.
I was going to make
Oh,
a
go ahead.
motion.
All right, motion by Mary Ann. Do I hear a second? Calvin? Any further discussion? All in favor?
And that saved us money, because now we don't have to pay the $5,000 with the other costs.
TEA Exchange Pilot Services Interlocal Agreement.
All right, this next one I'm doing on behalf of Shelley Harper in the tech department. It's no cost to us, there's no risk, but the state of Texas, I guess, is trying an initiative to get us all on the same page on the type of data systems we use. Different vendors provide different districts with services, and so I think the state is trying to get us all on the same page. And again, it's being led by Region 4, not Region 12, but there's no payment, no risk, no cost. But Shelley wanted us to try it out. And so my recommendation is to approve the interlocal agreement with Region 4 Education Service Center so our district can take advantage of this grant-funded resource opportunity and just check it out and see how it is.
Any further discussion? Questions? Do I hear a motion? Do we accept this? Calvin makes the motion, seconded by Cheyenne. All in favor? Okay. I spotted a band director in the audience. I wonder why.
Well, Jose is here tonight to help me explain the need for new band uniforms. So we're on an 8-year replacement cycle. The 8 years is up. And so they're getting time for replacement. And much like the buses, time is kind of the essence. If we don't get these approved pretty soon, they've got to start making them so they'll be ready for the fall. And Jose's having a show and tell tonight. He's got 20-year-old raincoats that we still have.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that there for a second. So just like anything, just like technology with the band world and anything else, things come in and out of style. We do have a new prototype, different from the one that we had shown you back in the fall. And we were much happier with the decision to go with this uniform Just like anything, if you don't love it at first, I'm not gonna buy it. So that was we were kind of having a battle with that, and so we came up with this design, which has a little bit more going on, and just has a little bit more presence. We took it out to the marching field, or football field, as other people call it, and we went out there, and we had the kids, students like march in it, and we saw it from the press box, and it's a very striking uniform, and it's gonna have like a big impact on what we're doing. So. Huge there. Part of that plan is also to replace raincoats. And actually, this is the first time I think our color guard is actually going to have uniforms that are going to match our marching band uniforms. That has never happened. They've been paying out of pocket for their own tunics and things like that. So this would be a set of color guard uniforms that would stay with the band program going forward. And so that way we look like more of a cohesive unit. But yes, these jackets, we have some former band parents in here, and they will tell you that these rain jackets have been here since like the early 2000s. The representative that I am talking to about it, his name's Jason Littleton. He actually used to be a band director here with Jim Childers. And so he goes, oh, I remember when we had those. And so, and that was in like 2002, 2004. And these, rain jackets have been bleached multiple times. And so just to kind of give you, and our students refuse to wear them now. And this is the rain jacket we now put our students in for Friday nights if there's mist. And this one I can tell you has been bleached at least twice. So when the students, so whenever we go, all right guys, bring out the raincoats, they're like, please no, please no, please no, please no. And so that's kind of the state of our raincoats, and the fact that we actually don't have enough of them now. And so we have to start surplusing it. Like I've gone out and I've gone to Walmart and I've bought 25, 30 ponchos for the kids just out of my own pocket to make sure that they're getting the things that they need. So.
I'm just interested, how many do you have in band?
Right now, for this upcoming year, we're going to be floating towards 115. So we're coming in, we have this weird kind of bubble situation because our sophomore and junior classes, so next year sophomore and junior classes are our COVID classes, which shrunk, and then now they're going to start re-expanding. So we're seeing our enrollment kind of do some weird things. In our junior high system, we actually, this is the first time I think in Gatesville history we have 3 bands in our junior high. So we've had to spread over three classes, and then we're expanding in our intermediate beginner classes as well. So we're hoping to see the high school band program after these couple of these COVID classes get out, the band program to get up a little bit further in numbers.
So you'll be ordering a few extra.
Yes, so the plan is right now to have about 150 uniforms, and that's not including the color guard. When you start taking the color guard away, that's another 15 to 30 girls, and so or boys, whoever you decide to do. And so it kind of has some room to play. And right now we're starting to do measurements of students, so that way we can give a pretty accurate idea of what we have going forward.
How much is one uniform?
It is generally about $180 for like the run of its life.
So the quote we have tonight is for $142,993, and that includes jackets, shirts, skirts, pants, plumes, among other items, raincoats, garment bags, hangers, plume cases, quite a lot of stuff.
And when I first, took this position, we had just gotten the new uniforms, and they had gotten new tuxedos, and I promised Barrett I would keep it underneath the mark from the previous band director, who I think spent near $200,000 on that, and we've kind of shifted some things in some other areas to reduce that cost. And so whenever I talked to Dr. Pollard at the very beginning of the year, I said, okay, what's kind of in, he said 200,000, and I came back with 144. He goes, good job. So that's kind of where we landed.
So those uniforms are good when it's 100 degrees?
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
so
30
the,
degrees?
yeah, so the material that they're now being used, and if you can tell, Dr. Paul, you wanna pull this back up?
Yeah.
So what is happening now is that this is more of a vest, and this is a dry fit material. And so what is helping us a lot is that we're gonna wear this one primarily on Friday nights to show our school spirit. And then if we want to, for competitions, we can actually do an addition and have them design a different undershirt. Or if we want to, we can buy like regular Under Armour material, something like that, and have it short sleeve, so on those really, really hot games where we know it's gonna be blistered, we can go short sleeve on those. And so that's gonna help that out. And actually this hat is different as well. So it's actually a visor with a wrap around it. So now the inside top is actually open to the sky, so that way kids actually have breezes of air. So they've taken a really, really big design change in order to make these a little bit more lightweight, allow them to breathe a lot more and have more, more components and mobility in those, as well as being modular, so they can change from year to year if need be.
All right, so our recommendation would be the board approve the purchase of band and color guard uniforms as presented.
Any further questions? Do I hear a motion to accept this recommendation? Mary Ann, second. Okay, Linda, all in favor? And march on. Hazard mitigation plan.
Yeah, Judge Miller, the county's been working on this hazard mitigation plan for a long time, and they finally got some preliminary approvals from FEMA and TDM, and so it took about 8 months to get through it. And so basically they're trying to get access to grant funds, and we would have access to it in the case of some of this natural disaster type things with flooding. And so he needed each entity in Coryell County, the school districts and cities and all those different governmental entities, to go ahead and sign or recommend the board adopt a resolution. And so the resolution is right here. And basically, you can read through that, but it's recognizing the threat that natural hazards pose to people and property, and whereas we've prepared a multi-hazard mitigation plan in accordance with federal laws and different acts, and we've identified mitigation goals to eliminate long-term risk to people and property, and whereas adoption by the Board of Trustees demonstrates its commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the plan, now therefore be it resolved by the GISD that in accordance with board policy, the Board of Trustees adopt the Coryell County mitigation plan. And it goes on to say we can review it later on and adopt any further iterations of the plan later on. But I think he's needing us to go ahead and approve it so he can put it in a packet and get approval from the federal and state governments to make it a done deal. I don't know, they've had a low water crossing initiative to try to eliminate those. I don't know if this would also help the city with Fauntleroy Park that's falling into the river, but it might, I don't know. But anyway, it's a good plan, a good thing to be involved with, and we're trying to help out the county, so I would recommend that the board adopt the resolution as presented.
Any further questions? Do I hear a motion to adopt? Calvin, seconded by? All right, Cheyenne. All in favor? Okay. School calendar.
Well, the state of Texas is becoming increasingly difficult to work with. And so one of their little rules that they really have doubled down on is that 45-minute per period for CTE courses. And so they really, really look negatively at any early out, because in that case, it ruins if you have 45-minute class periods, which we do, it ruins your 45-minute average. And so really, the early outs have become a real liability for us. So our proposal would be to 3 of those 4 early outs would become staff development, and 1 would become a full day with kids. And in doing so, Laura Lamb checked all of our minutes, and we would have plenty of cushion in case there's bad weather. but it also, in polling the teachers, an early release day is almost useless, instructionally speaking, because the schedules are very upended. It's just kind of a hard time. And so the changes to the board calendar, excuse me, the school calendar, basically, zoom in here. So those early outs for the football games, September 13th and August 30th are now in blue. They're not early outs, they're staff development. We asked Aaron Hunter, now, are you gonna have problems getting those football boys up there? He said, it's not a problem. And so they'll have all day to get ready to go to the game, and it would also ensure and help that we get the band there. You know how the band missing because all the drivers have to come back with the buses and all that, and then the folks are, why isn't the band here for the fight song and all that? That eliminates some of that problem too. And so that's helpful. The day before Christmas, that early out before the Christmas holiday also becomes staff development. And then we switched the May 22nd would then become a full day as opposed to early out, that last day of school. So that's I ran it past I sent an all district email. I said, hey, complain, tell me if there's something, if you don't like that. I didn't hear anything. I think the staff was good with it. So I recommend the board approve the changes to the 24-25 school calendar as presented so we can get it out to the public and say, hey, wait a second, here's the final version.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion to accept them? Okay, Linda? A second? Okay, Mr. Hobson, and all in favor? Good. Juneteenth.
You know, Juneteenth is a Texas holiday. It originated as a Texas holiday. It's also Calvin's birthday. He's going to tell you that.
That's what it's really all about.
Yeah. In 2021, it became a federal holiday. And the first 2 days, it fell on a Saturday and a Sunday, so it didn't really impact us. But then last year, I had to kind of frantically, we had some camps scheduled, and it was a regular work day, and really it's a national holiday. And so we're more cognizant of that now. The only problem is that it kind of messes with our hourly employees. If they take the day off, then they have to either work more hours the other days or work on a Friday. Well, that's not much of a holiday. If we're saying, well, it's a holiday, take it off, but we're going to make you make up that time. And so what we're requesting is the board to give that time to our employees this year since it's a national holiday. In other words, we don't wish for them to have to work additional hours to get the time off. And so that would be my recommendation, so they wouldn't have to work extra time. You get your national holiday towards the end of June. There's no one hardly up here. I think it'll be fine.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Calvin, second. Charlie? All in favor? Okay. It's 6:38. We're going to executive session.
And before everybody gets up, just in case Keegan is gone next board meeting, we want to say farewell to Keegan. You're getting standing up. She submitted her letter today, and she had 14 years here. And so we wish her the best of luck. And I wanted
And a
to.
bunch as a student.
Yes. And so we wanted to catch her just in case she wasn't at the June board meeting, but she might be. I don't know exactly when it falls.
Whatever you tell me to do.
Okay. We'll torture her one more time.
Happy to come.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Keegan. All right. That was it. Thank y'all.